In the last section, we talked about the information mechanisms which can support procedural memory phenomena. So now I'm going to have a look at some phenomena in a bit more detail and see how the information mechanisms support them. And first of all, we're going to have a look at why the skill of riding a bicycle is difficult to describe verbally. And once again, we'll use the model of multiple cortical areas providing inputs to the basal ganglia. At each point in time, receptive fields will be detected within visual and body position inputs, and quite a wide range of cortical areas receive inputs from the balance system in the inner ear. Many receptive fields could contribute recommendation strength to muscle movements required to maintain balance and propel the bicycle, with the motor cortex being an important source, but the motor cortex receptive fields, of course, are defined to including receptive fields in many other cortical areas. At each point in time, there must be a predominant recommendation strength in favor of just the right behavior, or combination of behaviors of shifting balance, muscle movements to drive the arms and the legs and so forth. So think about what it would mean to be able to describe this behavior verbally. The requirement would be for the population at each point in time to generate words, but to be a description, those words must in turn be able to drive indirect activation of a population with exactly the right motor recommendation strengths. Now, although in general terms words do indirectly activate populations, those word-activated populations are averages over lots of word experiences. And most of the experiences when any one particular word was used will be unrelated to riding a bicycle. So it's very unlikely that words could acquire the ability to activate column populations with just the right recommendation strengths for riding a bicycle. The situation is even worse where if one brain is trying to describe a skill verbally to another brain. To be successful, words generated by the skill brain must activate populations of receptive fields in the other brain that have exactly the right predominant recommendation strengths for the bicycle riding at each point in time. Different experiences mean that individual receptive fields are different between the brains. So the populations that are activated by similar sensory circumstances during skill behavior have minimal correspondence between the two brains. The populations activated by the same word will have minimal resemblance. And furthermore, the columns activated in the unskilled brain by sensory inputs in the course of bicycling will only have weak recommendation strengths in favor of the appropriate behaviors because those recommendation strengths haven't yet been acquired. So even if the words generated by the skilled brain activated the sort of columns that are appropriate for a bicycling situation, these columns would not have the right recommendation strengths. So overall, the lack of connection between physical skills and speech is because words activate average column populations, but physical skills depend upon precise recommendation strengths of column populations that can't be activated precisely by speech. When skill behaviors are recorded in the cerebellum as sequences of specific actions, the extremely complex receptive fields that command each individual action at the appropriate point in time can't even be activated verbally and have no influence at all upon speech production. So there's even less capability to verbally describe behaviors that have been coded in the cerebellum in any meaningful way.